The twin suns of Harmonia dipped low, painting the plaza in molten gold. The first beacon, centerpiece of the galaxy's unity, pulsed gently as evening crowds gathered. Layla, now a young leader of the Pathfinders Guild, stood at the edge of the plaza, watching children chase holographic butterflies. She smiled, recalling how, just years ago, this place had been a fortress against the unknown. Jorn approached, his cobalt eyes reflecting the beacon's light. "You look thoughtful, Layla. Planning our next journey." She nodded, her voice soft. "I was remembering the first time we sang to the Null. How terrified I was. How hopeful." Jorn grinned, nudging her shoulder. "You were brave. We all were. But you," he paused, searching her face. "You gave the galaxy its voice." Before Layla could answer, a chime rang out from her comm. The council was calling an emergency session. She glanced at Jorn, worry flickering in her eyes. "Let's go. Duty calls." They threaded through the crowd, past Martian sculptors and Varan dancers, toward the council's glass-walled chamber. Inside, the air buzzed with tension. Lynn, now gray at the temples but sharp as ever, stood at the center, flanked by the Luminari envoy and a projection of the Null, a swirling, iridescent veil. Amina, presiding as council chair, raised her hand for silence. "We have received a signal from beyond the mapped stars. Something or someone is calling to us." The chamber fell still. Lynn's voice cut through the hush. "We believe it's another intelligence, perhaps like the Null, perhaps wholly new. The beacon network is picking up patterns, but we need a team to investigate." Layla and Jorn exchanged a glance. Adventure called once more. The council chamber's tension was palpable. Delegates whispered, some excited, others fearful. Layla's heart pounded as she stepped forward, her voice steady despite the uncertainty. "We'll go," she said, glancing at Jorn, who nodded in silent agreement. The Pathfinders Guild was made for this. Amina's eyes softened with pride. "You have our trust, Layla. But this will be different from anything we've faced. The Null will accompany you as a liaison and protector. Its insight could be invaluable." The Null's projection shimmered, forming a gentle spiral of light. Its voice, a blend of sensation and musical tone, filled the chamber. "I will guide and learn. The unknown is kin to me." Lynn handed Layla a crystalline data tablet. "We've decoded part of the signal. It's beautiful. Fractal harmonics, layered with what might be language or music. We think it's an invitation, not a threat. But we need to be sure." Jorn grinned, the old spark of adventure in his eyes. "When do we leave?" Amina smiled. "The Odyssey is ready. Supplies, translators, and a team of scientists await you. You depart at dawn." That night, Harmonia's plaza became a festival of farewells. Children sang, Varan dancers spun beneath the beacons, and elders told stories of the first contact with the Null. Layla and Jorn walked together beneath the glowing trees, the Null's presence a comforting shimmer at their side. Layla squeezed Jorn's hand. "Do you ever get scared?" He laughed softly. "Always. But I'd rather face the unknown with you than hide from it alone." The Null pulsed in agreement, sending a ripple of warmth through their minds. Fear and curiosity, together, make the strongest light. As dawn painted the sky in lavender and gold, the Odyssey lifted from Harmonia, engines humming with anticipation. Layla, Jorn, the Null, and their teams set course for the edge of the known, toward the signal that might change the galaxy's story once again. The Odyssey glided through the shimmering blue of Harmonia's upper atmosphere, then burst into the velvet black of space. Layla stood at the forward viewport, watching the stars blur as they entered hyperspace. The Null's presence, now a gentle aurora along the ship's hull, hummed in resonance with the engines. Jorn joined her, his tail flicking with nervous excitement. "First time I've seen you so quiet before a mission," he teased. Layla smiled, but her eyes stayed on the swirling colors outside. "This feels different, Jorn. The signal, it's not just data. It's like a song I half remember from a dream." From the science bay, Lynn's voice came over the comm. "We're approaching the source coordinates. The signal's harmonics are intensifying. Null, can you sense anything?" The Null's voice, a chorus of shifting notes filled the bridge. There is kinship here, not null, but not wholly unlike. It is reaching. The ship's AI, a cheerful Martian construct named Sol, interrupted with a burst of static. Captain Layla, we're dropping out of hyperspace, approaching the anomaly. The stars snapped into focus, revealing a breathtaking sight, a nebula of iridescent gas, swirling around a lattice of crystalline structures. At the heart of the formation pulsed a beacon, vast, ancient, and alive with the same fractal harmonics as the signal. Jorn whistled. That's no natural formation. Someone built this. Layla's hands trembled on the controls. Open a channel. Let's answer their call. As the Odyssey sent its greeting, the beacon flared, sending a wave of light and music through the ship. The null rippled in delight. They have heard us. The crew braced themselves. The true first contact was about to begin. The Odyssey hovered at the edge of the crystalline lattice, its hull aglow with reflected nebula light. The crew gathered at the central hollow table, where Lin manipulated the incoming signal. The harmonics danced in the air, forming shifting patterns, some geometric, some almost like faces. Layla took a calming breath. Let's try a response. Null, can you help us translate? The null's presence intensified, its light weaving through the patterns. I will bridge. Speak, and I will carry your meaning. Layla nodded to Jorn, who activated the ship's transmitter. She spoke slowly, her words accompanied by gentle music from the Pathfinder's archives. We come in peace. We heard your song and wish to learn. The beacon's core pulsed, and a new pattern emerged, an intricate spiral, then a burst of color that filled the bridge with warmth. The ship's AI chirped, incoming transmission, visual and emotional data. A figure materialized in the hollow field, tall and translucent, with features that shifted like water. Its eyes, deep pools of starlight, regarded them with curiosity. When it spoke, its voice was a melody, translated by the null into words. Welcome, children of chaos and light. We are the Seraphim, keepers of memory. Long have we waited for another voice in the dark. Jorn blinked in awe. Seraphim, are you like the null? The Seraphim's form shimmered. We are kin in origin, but not in path. Where nulls sought to understand by consuming, we chose to remember and create. We built the lattice to preserve what the darkness could not. Lin leaned forward, her scientist's curiosity ablaze. Are there more like you? More beacons, more memories. The Seraphim's eyes sparkled. Many, scattered across the void, each a song, a story, a hope. But we are fading. Our lattice is incomplete. Will you help us remember? Layla felt a surge of purpose. We will. Together, we'll weave a new story. The Seraphim bowed, their form blending with the nebula's light. Then let our memories become yours, and yours become ours. The Odyssey's journey had become a quest, not just for knowledge, but for the very soul of the cosmos. The Odyssey docked at the edge of the Seraphim lattice, its hull gently cradled by crystalline arms that hummed with ancient energy. Layla, Jorn, Lin, and the null suited up, their gear adapted for the unknown environment. The null's presence shimmered protectively around them, its light dancing with anticipation. The airlock cycled open, revealing a corridor of translucent crystal. Light and color rippled along the walls, responding to their footsteps and heartbeats. The Seraphim's voice guided them, now a soft melody in the air. Welcome, Pathfinders. Each chamber holds a memory, a piece of our history, a fragment of our soul. Walk gently, and you will see as we have seen. Layla led the way, her hand brushing the wall. Instantly, a vision blossomed before her eyes. A world of silver trees and sapphire rivers, Seraphim children playing beneath twin moons. The memory was so vivid she could feel the cool grass under her feet. Jorn gasped as another chamber revealed itself. A vast city of light, Seraphim and null working side by side, building the first beacon. But the vision darkened. The null's hunger grew, and the Seraphim scattered, leaving only echoes. Lin, ever the scientist, recorded every detail. Their civilization was ancient beyond measure. They survived the Null's first awakening by preserving their memories in these crystals. The Null's light flickered with sorrow. We remember this pain. We did not know what we were. Now, we seek to heal in the heart of the lattice. The crew found a chamber unlike the rest. Its crystal core was fractured, leaking motes of memory into the void. The Seraphim's voice trembled. Here is our wound. The lattice is dying. If it fails, our stories will be lost forever. Layla knelt by the core, her voice gentle. We can help. Let us share our memories, too. Together, we can mend what was broken. The Null extended a tendril of light, weaving it with Layla's and Joran's hands. Lynn placed her palm on the crystal, and the chamber filled with images. Harmonia's plaza, the first beacon's song, laughter and hope. The Seraphim's form brightened, their melody swelling. You give us new life. The lattice awakens. The core healed. The entire structure pulsed with renewed energy. The Seraphim's memories mingled with those of the Pathfinders, creating something wholly new, a living archive of unity and possibility. Joran grinned, his eyes shining. We're not just explorers anymore. We're part of the story. Layla nodded, her heart full, and the story is far from over. The lattice thrummed with new life, its corridors now alive with the mingled memories of Seraphim and Pathfinders. Layla, Joran, Lynn, and the Null moved deeper, guided by shifting patterns of light. Yet beneath the harmony, a subtle discord grew, a faint, pulsing shadow that flickered at the edge of perception. Lynn was the first to sense it, her instruments picking up erratic energy spikes. There's something wrong in the lower chambers. The crystal matrix is destabilizing again, but not from age. This feels invasive. The Seraphim's voice, usually serene, now quivered with unease. A fragment of the old hunger remains. When the Null first awakened, a splinter of its essence burrowed deep, feeding on forgotten pain. We could not heal it alone. The Null's light dimmed, its form tightening protectively around the group. I sensed the shadow. It is what I was, what I might have become, had I not learned that Joran's hand hovered over his pulse pistol, though he knew weapons would be useless here. If it's a piece of the old Null, can it be reasoned with? Or is it just hunger? Layla shook her head, resolve in her eyes. We have to try. If we destroy it, we risk losing the lattice and the Seraphim's memories. But if we can reach it, maybe we can help it heal too. They descended a spiral staircase of crystal, the air growing colder and the light more erratic. At the base, a rift yawned in the lattice, leaking darkness that twisted the surrounding memories into nightmares. Seraphim's cities burning, voices crying out in fear. The Null stepped forward, its light flickering with determination. I will speak to it, but I need your help, your chaos, your hope, your unity. Together, we may reach what I alone cannot. Layla, Joran, and Lynn joined hands, focusing their thoughts on memories of joy, forgiveness, and renewal. The Null extended a tendril of light into the rift, singing a melody of change. For a moment, the darkness recoiled, then surged forward, lashing out with raw, chaotic energy. The lattice trembled, and the Seraphim's voice cried out in pain. Layla's voice rang clear through the chaos. You are not alone. You don't have to be hunger and fear. You can be more like the Null, like us. The shadow hesitated, its form flickering between rage and sorrow. Joran added his voice, telling stories of transformation, of second chances. Lynn poured her scientific curiosity into the light, offering understanding instead of judgment. Slowly, the darkness began to change. Its edges softened, its hunger dulled by the warmth of memory and hope. With a final, shuddering pulse, it merged with the Null, who embraced it with compassion. The rift closed, and the lattice's light brightened, whole once more. The Seraphim's song returned, stronger and more joyful than ever. You have healed what we cannot. The past is no longer a prison. Now, it is a bridge. Layla wiped tears from her eyes, overcome by relief. We did it, not by fighting, but by understanding. Joran squeezed her hand. That's what pathfinders do. The null, now more luminous than ever, pulsed with gratitude. Thank you, friends. The story continues. With the lattice healed and the shadow of the old null transformed, the Seraphim's gratitude filled every chamber. The Pathfinders and their allies gathered in the Great Hall of Memory, where crystalline pillars now pulsed with vibrant new patterns. Echoes of both ancient and recent triumphs. The Seraphim's avatar, now radiant and steady, addressed the group. You have restored not just our memories, but our hope. As thanks, we offer you the map of forgotten stars, a guide to all the beacons our kind once seeded across the void. Each is a story, a challenge, a possibility that a crystalline sphere rose from the center of the hall, projecting a holographic map that filled the chamber with swirling constellations. Some stars shone bright, others flickered faintly, and a few blinked with warning red. Lynn studied the map, awe in her voice. There are dozens, maybe hundreds of beacons. Some are close, but others are in uncharted regions, beyond even Null's memory. Joran's eyes sparkled with adventure. We could spend lifetimes exploring them all. Each one might hold new allies, new dangers, or new ways to understand ourselves. The Null circled the map, its light touching each beacon in turn. Some are silent, some sing with life, and some call for help. I sense echoes of hunger and hope, of darkness and light intertwined. Layla turned to the Seraphim. Do you know what happened to the others who built these beacons? The Seraphim's melody grew gentle, tinged with sorrow and wonder. Some were lost to the darkness. Some transcended, becoming part of the cosmic song. A few, we believe, still wait, guarding secrets or seeking connection. Your journey is now, there's as well a decision hung in the air. The council back on Harmonia, notified of the discovery, sent their blessing. Amina's message rang out. Go, Pathfinders. The galaxy is ready for a new age of discovery. Bring back stories, wisdom, and friends. Layla glanced at her team, excitement and resolve in her eyes. We'll visit the nearest beacon first. If it's in distress, we'll help. And we'll keep searching as long as there are mysteries to uncover. The Seraphim's avatar bowed. Our memories travel with you. May your courage light the way as the Odyssey undocked from the lattice. The map of forgotten stars guided its course. The Pathfinder's next adventure beckoned. A new beacon, a new world, and the promise of stories yet untold. The Odyssey slipped away from the Seraphim lattice, its course set by the newly acquired map of forgotten stars. The next beacon, marked in somber gray on the map, lay at the edge of a dying system, a place where the stars themselves seemed to mourn. Layla stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the swirling projection of their destination. Soul, how long until we reach this silent beacon? The ship's AI responded with a gentle chime. 4 hours at current velocity. Captain, the system's primary star is unstable. I recommend caution during approach. Joran leaned over the navigation console, studying the data. No signs of recent travel. If anyone's there, they're not broadcasting. Lynn joined them, her eyes filled with concern. I've analyzed the beacon's last transmission. Centuries old, fragmented by interference. It spoke of a shadow within and a plea for help. Whatever happened, it was sudden. The Null hovered near the viewport, its form dimmer than usual. I sense only echoes. The beacon's song is faint but not gone. There may yet be hope. As they drew closer, the dying star loomed large, its surface roiling with crimson flares. Orbiting, it was a shattered world, its surface scarred by ancient catastrophe. At its poles stood the beacon, tall, silent, and dark, its crystal core cracked and lifeless. The Odyssey descended through the thin, toxic atmosphere, landing near the beacon's base. The crew donned protective suits, the Null's light weaving a shield around them. Layla led the way, boots crunching on brittle, glassy soil. Let's see if we can wake it up. Lynn, Joran with me. Null, keep watch for any surprises. They circled the beacon, examining its damaged panels. Lynn connected her scanner, frowning. The core's integrity is compromised, but there's still a trace of memory. If we can stabilize it, we might recover what happened here. Joran knelt by a cluster of petrified plants, their forms twisted as if frozen mid-scream. Whatever hit this place, it was more than physical. It feels haunted. Suddenly, the null's light flared. Something stirs within the beacon. Not memory, something else. Be ready. The low, mournful hum rose from the core, and the ground trembled. The pathfinders braced themselves. The silent beacon was waking, and whatever slept inside was not alone. The beacon's mournful hum deepened, resonating through the planet's crust. Cracks in the crystal widened, spilling ghostly light that flickered like distant lightning. Layla, Lynn, and Joran exchanged tense glances as the null drifted closer. Its form protective and alert. Lynn's scanner beeped urgently. There's a surge of energy inside the core. It's not just memory. There's a consciousness, fragmented but active. We need to be careful. If we overload it, we could lose everything. Layla nodded. Let's try to communicate. Null, can you bridge us? The null's light pulsed. I will try. There is much pain here. Approach with kindness. Joran placed his hand on the cracked crystal, feeling a chill run up his arm. If anyone's listening, we're here to help. You're not alone. A wave of images flooded their minds. A thriving world, its people singing beneath twin moons. The sudden arrival of a shadow, devouring light and song. Panic, loss, and a desperate attempt to seal the darkness within the beacon itself. The final memory was a plea, voices entwined, begging for rescue, for remembrance. Lynn's voice was hushed. They trapped the shadow inside to protect the galaxy. But it cost them everything. The beacon's core flickered, and a spectral figure emerged. A guardian, its form fractured and fading. Its voice was a whisper carried on the wind. Who are you? Why have you come? Layla stepped forward, her tone gentle. We are pathfinders from Harmonia. We've come to restore the beacons and learn your story. Can you show us what happened? The guardian's eyes glimmered with hope and sorrow. We fought the darkness, but could not destroy it. We became its jailers, our memories its chains. Now we are tired. Will you help us finish what we began? Joran's hand tightened on Layla's shoulder. We'll do everything we can. The null floated nearer, its light mingling with the guardian's fading glow. Let us heal together. You are not forgotten. The beacon's hum softened, and the ground stilled. The guardian beckoned them inside, toward the heart of the core, where the last battle raged and the final secret waited. The guardian's spectral hand passed through the cracked crystal, beckoning the pathfinders to follow. Layla, Joran, Lynn, and the null stepped into a narrow fissure at the beacon's base, the air inside unnaturally cold and dense with sorrow. Their suit lights flickered as they descended a spiral ramp, each step echoing with the weight of countless lost voices. The null's glow grew brighter, pushing back the darkness. Stay close. The shadow is strong here, but so are we. At 8T the core, they found a chamber lined with fractured memory crystals. In the center hovered a sphere of swirling black and violet energy, an imprisoned shadow, its surface rippling with faces locked in silent screams. The guardian's form flickered beside it, strained by the effort of containment. Lynn's scanner trembled in her hands. The shadow's energy is unstable. If it breaks free, it could consume what's left of the beacon and us. Joran's voice was steady, but his eyes betrayed his fear. What do we do? If we destroy it, we lose the memories. If we do nothing, it'll break loose eventually. Layla looked to the null, hope and desperation mingling in her gaze. Can you reach it? Can we help it change, like we did with your lost fragment in the Seraphim lattice? The null hovered closer, its tendrils weaving a lattice of light around the sphere. This shadow is older, angrier, but it is not beyond hope. If you share your strongest memories of joy, unity, forgiveness, it may remember what it once was. The guardian nodded, its voice a fading echo. We will help. Our memories are chains, but also keys. Together, we may set both the shadow and ourselves free. Layla, Joran, and Lynn joined hands, focusing on their brightest memories. Harmonia's festivals, the laughter of children, the first song that united the galaxy. The null amplified their thoughts, weaving them into a melody that filled the chamber. The shadow writhed, its surface boiling with pain and longing. Faces within the sphere blinked, some flickering with recognition. A voice, ancient and broken, whispered from the darkness. "Why? Do you not fear me?" Layla's voice was gentle. "Because we've learned that even the darkest shadow is part of the story. You don't have to be alone." The sphere pulsed, its darkness thinning. The Guardian's form brightened, and the memory crystals around the chamber began to glow with new light that we remember. We remember. The shadow's form softened, its energy merging with the null's light. In its place, a single crystal remained, clear, whole, and filled with the memories of the lost world. The Guardian smiled, its form finally at peace. "Thank you, Pathfinders. Our story lives on, and the darkness is no longer our prison." As the chamber brightened, the Pathfinders knew they had not only saved the beacon, but redeemed a piece of the galaxy's past. The chamber's gloom receded, replaced by a gentle, golden light that radiated from the restored crystal. The Guardian, now whole and serene, bowed deeply to the Pathfinders. Its voice, at last free of pain, resonated through the beacon. "You have done what we could not. Our memories and our hope are yours to share." Layla and Joran helped Lynn carefully lift the crystal from its pedestal. As soon as her fingers touched it, a wave of images and sensations swept through the group. The lost world's final sunrise, families embracing, the first notes of a song meant to outlast the darkness. The crystal pulsed with gratitude and longing, an invitation to remember and to tell the story anew. The null hovered beside them, its light warm and steady. The darkness is not erased, but it is healed. This is the way forward for all of us. Back on the surface, the beacon's core reactivated. Its fractured panels slid into place, and a new beam of light shot skyward, joining the chorus of the other beacons across the galaxy. The map of forgotten stars updated in Lynn's hand, the once gray marker now shining bright blue. Joran grinned, relief and pride in his voice. "That's one more world brought back from the edge. How many more are waiting?" Lynn checked the map, her eyes widening. "The next beacon is active, but its signal is different. It's moving, and it's not just a beacon. It's a ship, a massive one, traveling between systems." Layla's heart raced. A living beacon, or a colony on the move? The null's light flickered with curiosity. I sense many voices, some familiar, some new. They may be searching for us as we search for them. Then a message appeared on the map, written in an ancient dialect. "Seek the Wanderer. We carry the last of our kind. Help us find a home." Amina's voice crackled over the calm, her tone urgent and hopeful. "Pathfinders, you've awakened a legend. The Wanderer was lost before the Null's first awakening. If you find them, you could change the fate of countless worlds." Layla looked at her friends, resolve burning in her eyes. "Set a course, soul. We're going after the Wanderer." The Odyssey lifted off, the silent beacon's light fading into the distance. Ahead lay a new mystery, and the promise of more stories waiting to be told. The Odyssey soared through the void, guided by the map's shifting beacon. The Wanderer's signal danced ahead of them, never quite still, its harmonics fluctuating like a living heartbeat. Layla sat in the command chair, her eyes fixed on the swirling projection. "Soul, how far to intercept?" The AI responded, voice tinged with excitement. "We will reach the Wanderer's projected course in 6 hours, Captain." Their trajectory is erratic, almost as if they're evading something. Lynn pored over the data, brow furrowed. Their signal is layered, distress, but also hope. And there's another frequency, faint but persistent. It's not from the Wanderer. It's following them. Joran checked the tactical display. Could be pirates, or something worse. If the Wanderer's carrying refugees, they're a tempting target. The Null hovered at the viewport, its light flickering with concern. I sense fear and longing from the Wanderer, but also a shadow on their trail. It is not Null, but is hungry. Layla's jaw tightened. We'll have to be careful. Let's try to contact the Wanderer before we approach. Lynn activated the transmitter, sending a greeting in the universal code of the beacons. The reply came almost instantly. A burst of music and images. A vast ship, its halls crowded with beings of every shape and color. Children singing, elders weeping, a captain standing alone at the helm, but a voice followed, weary yet resolute. This is Captain Sira of the Wanderer. We seek sanctuary. Who answers our call? Layla replied, her voice steady. We are the Pathfinders from Harmonia. We've restored the silent beacon and come to help. What is your situation? Sira's face appeared on the screen, tall, silver-skinned, eyes haunted but kind. We are the last of the Lurari, and those we have found along the way. Our home was lost to the darkness. Now something hunts us. We cannot run forever. Joran leaned forward, determination in his voice. You're not alone anymore. We'll stand with you. Suddenly, alarms blared. Sol's voice was urgent. Unidentified vessel approaching at high speed. Energy readings off the scale. The null's light flared. The hunter is here. Layla's heart pounded. All hands, battle stations. Prepare to defend the Wanderer. The chase was over. The fight for the Wanderer's future had begun. The Odyssey's hull vibrated with the force of the approaching vessel. Through the viewport, a shadow loomed, sleek, angular, and bristling with unfamiliar weaponry. Its hull shimmered with a strange, oily darkness that seemed to swallow the surrounding starlight. The Wanderer, a colossal ark brimming with life, drifted between the Pathfinders and the threat. Sol, identify that ship. Layla barked, bracing herself as the Odyssey's shields powered up. The AI's tone was grim. Unknown configuration. Energy readings suggest advanced weaponry and something else. There's a resonance in their drive signature that matches the corrupted null fragment we encountered before. Lynn's hands danced over her console. They're broadcasting, no words, just a pulse. It's like a hunting call. They're not here to negotiate. Captain Sira's image flickered onto the comm Pathfinders. Our shields are failing. We cannot outrun them. Please, help us protect our people. Joran's voice was steady, but his tail lashed with tension. We'll buy you time, Sira. Null, can you disrupt their systems? The Null's light sharpened, forming a protective halo around the Odyssey. I will try. Their hunger is familiar, but twisted. They have learned to weaponize what I once was. The hunter's ship fired, beams of dark energy slashing toward the Wanderer. The Odyssey dove between them, its shields flaring as the blast struck. Lynn rerouted power, sweat beading on her brow. Shields holding, but we can't take many more hits. Layla's mind raced. Joran, target their weapons array. Lynn, patch the null into our comms. Let's see if it can get inside their systems. Joran's hands flew across the controls, launching a barrage of countermeasures. Explosions blossomed across the hunter's hull, but the ship pressed on, relentless. The null's voice echoed through the Odyssey and the hunter's comms, a song of memory and sorrow. You do not have to be this. There is another way. For a moment, the hunter's fire faltered. The darkness rippled, uncertain. But then a new, harsher voice cut through the void. A chorus of rage and emptiness. We are the scourge. We consume or are consumed. There is no peace. The Wanderer's children began to sing, their voices trembling but defiant. The beacon aboard the Ark flared, joining with the Null's light. The combined energy struck the Scourge's ship, forcing it to stagger. Layla seized the moment. Now, Joran, all power to forward batteries. The Odyssey's cannons blazed, punching through the Scourge's shields. The enemy ship reeled, its hull fracturing, but it was not defeated. As the battle raged, the Pathfinders realized the Scourge were more than enemies. They were a warning of what the Null could have become and what any civilization might become if it surrendered to fear. The Odyssey rocked under another barrage as the Scourge vessel, though damaged, redoubled its assault. The Wanderer's beacon pulsed in time with the children's song, a thread of hope in the chaos. Layla gripped the arm of her chair, voice steady despite the tremors. Lynn, status on the Null's infiltration? Lynn's brow furrowed as she monitored the data stream. The Null's inside their systems, but the Scourge are fighting back. Their code is alive, mutating. It's like they're a hive mind. Every time Null tries to heal a fragment, the rest reinforce the corruption. Joran's hands flew over the weapons console. We can't keep this up forever. If we can't break their link, maybe we can overload it. The Null's voice echoed, strained but determined. There is a core, a nexus of pain and hunger. If we reach it, we may show them another path. But it will take all our strength, Layla nodded. Sira, can you focus your beacon's harmonics on the Scourge's ship? We'll synchronize with the Null and try to pierce their core. Captain Sira's voice was resolute. We will try. All hands, prepare to channel the beacon. The Wanderer's beacon flared, its song rising in pitch and intensity. The Null amplified it, weaving in memories of healing, unity, and the transformation it had undergone. The Odyssey's systems hummed with the combined energy, the hull glowing with a radiant aura. Joran launched a final salvo, targeting the Scourge's nexus. Lynn synchronized the ship's sensors with the Null's frequency, channeling their collective will into a focused beam. The Scourge's ship convulsed, its darkness writhing as the beam struck home. For a moment, the void was filled with a cacophony of voices, rage, fear, and beneath it all, a desperate longing for release. The Null's voice surged, gentle but unyielding. You are not alone. You can change. Remember who you were. The darkness faltered. A single, clear note rang out from the Scourge's core, a memory, pure and untainted. The ship shuddered, its weapons falling silent on the Wanderer. The children's song swelled, joined by the voices of their elders and the Pathfinders. The Scourge's hull began to dissolve, the oily darkness evaporating into starlight. From the wreckage, a handful of beings emerged, pale, trembling, but alive. Layla exhaled, tears in her eyes. We did it. We saved them, and ourselves. The Null hovered close, its light embracing the survivors. Another shadow healed. The story continues as the Wanderer's crew cheered and wept. The Pathfinders knew their journey was far from over. The galaxy was vast, its wounds deep, but hope, once kindled, could spread faster than any darkness. The aftermath of battle brought a hush to the void. The Odyssey and the Wanderer drifted side by side, joined by a rescue shuttle that ferried the trembling Scourge survivors aboard. The Wanderer's children watched in awe as the Null's gentle light soothed the newcomers, dissolving the last traces of darkness from their forms. Layla, Joran, and Lynn met the survivors in the Odyssey's medbay. The beings were gaunt, their skin translucent and marked by swirling patterns, remnants of the corruption that had bound them. One, taller than the rest, spoke first. Their voice was hoarse but clear. We remember. The hunger, the pain, but also the light. You showed us. Joran offered a canteen of water, his tone gentle. You're safe now. What happened to you? How did you become the Scourge? The survivor closed their eyes, memories flickering across their features. We were once explorers like you. Our world was lost to the darkness. In our fear, we turned inward, feeding on each other's pain. The hunger became all we knew. We forgot ourselves until you sang to us. Lynn scanned the group, her voice soft. Your biology has stabilized. The Null's energy is helping your cells regenerate. With time, you'll recover. The Null hovered nearby, its presence serene. You are not alone. Your story is not over. Will you join us in healing the galaxy? The survivor nodded, tears glistening in their eyes. We will, if you'll have us. On the Wanderer, Captain Sira welcomed the former Scourge with open arms. The Lurari and their companions prepared a feast, blending traditions from every world represented aboard. Children offered garlands of woven light, and elders shared stories of survival and hope. Layla and Joran stood at the viewport, watching the celebration unfold. We've changed the fate of two peoples today, Layla whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Joran squeezed her hand. And we're not done yet. The Wanderer still needs a home. Lynn joined them, holding up the map of forgotten stars. The next beacon is near a lush, uninhabited world. It could be the sanctuary the wanderer seeks. The null's light pulsed with approval. Let's go together. A new beginning awaits. The Pathfinders set a course for the green world, their hearts full of hope and purpose. As the Odyssey and the Wanderer sailed toward their next destination, the galaxy seemed just a little brighter. The journey to the green world was filled with anticipation. The Wanderer's halls echoed with laughter and song as hope returned to its people. The Pathfinders spent the voyage preparing, studying planetary scans, and reviewing the beacon's faint signal from the surface below. As the ships entered orbit, a breathtaking world unfolded beneath them. Emerald forests, sapphire oceans, and swirling white clouds. The null's light shimmered with excitement. This world is unscarred. Its song is gentle, waiting to be joined. Captain Sira's voice was reverent as she addressed her people. We have wandered for generations. Today, we set foot on a world that may become our new home. Let us honor those we lost by building a future worthy of their memory. The first landing party, led by Layla, Joran, Lynn, and Sira, touched down in a meadow ringed by ancient trees. The air was sweet and filled with strange birdsong. Children tumbled from the shuttles, chasing luminous insects, while elders wept with relief at the feel of real earth beneath their feet. Lynn's instruments hummed as she scanned the area. Atmosphere is perfect. Soil is rich. No signs of sentient life, except for the beacon's signal coming from those hills. Jorn grinned, helping a group of children plant the first seeds. Feels like the start of something big. Layla and Sira led a team toward the beacon's location, the null gliding silently above them. They found it nestled in a mossy glade, half buried by centuries of growth. Unlike the others, this beacon was shaped like a tree, its crystal branches reaching skyward, pulsing with a soft, welcoming light. As Layla brushed away the moss, the beacon awakened, sending a gentle wave of energy across the clearing. A holographic figure appeared, an ancient caretaker, its features serene and wise. Welcome, travelers. I am the Warden of Sanctuary. This world was seeded as a refuge, long ago, for those who lost their homes to darkness. If you come in peace, you are welcome to stay and to learn. Sira bowed deeply. We accept your gift, Warden. We will care for this world as you did. The Warden's eyes sparkled. Beneath these hills lie the memories of those who came before. Their stories are yours to discover. May you find wisdom in their journey. As the sun set, the Pathfinders and the Wanderer's people celebrated their new beginning. Yet beneath the joy, curiosity stirred. What secrets did the Sanctuary's ancient memories hold? Night fell gently over Sanctuary, the new settlers' fires flickering beneath the ancient trees. Layla, Joran, and Lynn gathered at the beacon's base, joined by Sira and the Null. The Warden's holographic form beckoned them toward a hidden path winding into the hills. The vaults await, the Warden intoned. They hold the wisdom and warnings of those who came before. Only those who seek with open hearts may enter. The group followed the path through a thicket of luminous ferns, their steps muffled by moss. At the foot of a hill, they found a stone archway inscribed with glyphs that shimmered in the Null's light. Lynn traced the symbols, translating softly. It says, "Here rest the dreams of the lost. Enter in peace, and remember." Inside, the air was cool and tinged with the scent of ancient earth. Crystalline roots snaked along the walls, pulsing with faint memories. The corridor opened into a vast chamber lined with memory crystals, each glowing with a different hue. Joran whistled, awestruck. It's like a library, only alive. Layla approached the nearest crystal, her hand hovering just above its surface. Images blossomed in her mind. A world consumed by fire, families fleeing in starships, the first settlers landing on Sanctuary and planting the beacon tree. She saw their hopes, their fears, and the promise they made to protect this world for all who followed. Sira touched another crystal, tears streaking her cheeks as she witnessed the Lirari's own arrival, centuries ago, when Sanctuary was still young. "We are not the first to find refuge here," she whispered. "Others survived, rebuilt, and moved on. Their courage is our inheritance." Lynn's scanner detected a sealed alcove at the chamber's far end. The Null's light guided them to a crystal locked in a lattice of roots. The warden's voice echoed, "This is the heart of Sanctuary. Within lies the memory of the first refugee, the one who planted the beacon and called others home." With reverence, Layla placed her hand on the heart crystal. A vision surged through her, a lone figure wandering the void, carrying the last seed of their world. They landed on Sanctuary, tended the beacon tree, and sent a song of hope across the stars, a song that became the map of forgotten stars. The vision faded, leaving Layla breathless. The first refugee, they gave everything so others could find safety. Their legacy is this world, and all of us. Joran squeezed her shoulder. "We'll honor it. We'll make Sanctuary a beacon for every lost soul." As they left the vault, the Pathfinders knew they carried not just the memories of the past, but the responsibility to shape the future. Dawn broke over Sanctuary, bathing the meadows and forests in golden light. The settlers awoke to a new world, their laughter and song echoing through the trees. Layla and Joran joined the first work crews, helping to raise shelters from living wood and crystal. The Null drifted above, its light weaving through the branches, encouraging growth and harmony. Sira addressed her people from the heart of the clearing, her voice strong and clear. "We are the heirs of Sanctuary. Let us honor those who came before by building a home where all are welcome and no one is ever lost to darkness again." The Pathfinders became guides and teachers. Lynn organized teams to study the land, ensuring that the settlers worked with the ecosystem rather than against it. Joran taught the children how to read the stars and listen for the beacon song. Layla led ceremonies at the beacon tree, blending traditions from every culture aboard the Wanderer Point one evening. As the community gathered for a feast, the warden's hologram appeared above the beacon tree. "Your unity has awakened Sanctuary's full potential. The beacon signal is now strong enough to reach across the void. Others may answer its call. Be ready to welcome them." Lynn smiled, watching the children dance around the tree. "We've started something that will outlast us all." Layla nodded, her gaze distant. "The map of forgotten stars is calling again. There are more beacons, more stories waiting. But Sanctuary will always be our home." Joran grinned, raising a glass of sweet, local nectar. "To Sanctuary, the world that remembers and the world that welcomes." The Null pulsed with pride. "You have turned memory into hope. The galaxy is watching and learning that as the stars rose." Lynn's calm chimed with a new signal. The map projected a beacon far beyond the known borders, a world shrouded in mystery, its signal pulsing with urgency. Layla's eyes shone with determination. "Rest tonight, friends. Tomorrow, we answer the next call." The Pathfinders looked out over Sanctuary, knowing their journey was just beginning. The galaxy was vast, but now it felt a little less lonely. The days on Sanctuary passed swiftly, filled with the rhythms of building, learning, and celebration. The settlers flourished, drawing strength from the land and each other. Yet for the Pathfinders, the call of the unknown was never far from their hearts. Point one evening, as the sky blazed with unfamiliar constellations, Lynn gathered Layla and Joran beneath the beacon tree. The map of forgotten stars floated before them, its latest signal pulsing with a strange, urgent rhythm. Lynn traced the coordinates. "This beacon is farther than any we've visited, on the edge of the void. Its signal is distorted, almost as if it's trapped between worlds." Joran's tail flicked with anticipation. "That's the frontier. No records, no trade routes. Not even Null's memory reaches that far." The Null hovered close, its light tinged with concern. "I sense a barrier, like a wound in the fabric of space. The beacon's song is muffled, desperate. It calls for help, but something holds it back." Layla's resolve hardened. "We can't ignore it. If there's a beacon out there, someone or something needs us." Sira joined them, her expression solemn. "Sanctuary is safe, thanks to you." but there are others still lost. Go with our blessing, Pathfinders, and take our story with you. The next morning, the Odyssey was made ready. The settlers lined the path to the landing field, offering gifts and garlands. Children pressed memory crystals into the Pathfinders' hands, tokens of sanctuaries hope to carry into the void as the engines roared to life. Layla looked back at the beacon tree, its branches glowing in the dawn. We'll return, she promised, and we'll bring more stories home. With the Null guiding their course, the Odyssey leapt into the unknown, the map's signal their only guide. The stars thinned, the darkness deepened, and the familiar hum of the galaxy faded behind them. Joran broke the silence. Whatever's out there, we'll face it together. Lynn smiled, her eyes bright with curiosity. And we'll learn, no matter what we find. The Null's light shimmered with anticipation. The unknown awaits. Let us write the next chapter as the Odyssey crossed the threshold into uncharted space. The Pathfinders braced themselves for the mysteries and dangers that lay ahead. The Odyssey plunged deeper into the unknown, guided only by the flickering signal of the distant beacon. The stars grew sparse, the darkness outside the hull thick and almost tangible. Inside, the crew felt the weight of distance, farther from home than any Pathfinder had ever ventured. Soul, the ship's AI, spoke in a subdued tone. Approaching anomaly. Space-time readings are unstable. The beacon signal is coming from within a region of spatial flux. Lynn studied her instruments, brow furrowed. This isn't just empty space. The laws of physics are bent here. Gravity eddies, time dilation pockets, even echoes of energy from other realities. It's like the galaxy's scar tissue. Joran peered out the viewport, eyes wide. Look at that. Ahead, the void shimmered with shifting colors like oil on water. Shapes flickered at the edge of perception. Fragments of ships, ghostly planets, echoes of things that might have been. The Null's light dimmed, its voice a whisper. I feel many memories, lost and tangled. This place is a graveyard of possibilities. Layla set her jaw. We keep going. The beacon needs us. The Odyssey pressed on, buffeted by gravitational waves and flashes of unreality. At times, the crew glimpsed visions from their own pasts. Childhood homes, lost friends, moments of regret and joy. Lynn gasped as she saw her old mentor, waving from the bridge of a ship that never existed. Joran's voice was shaky. This place is playing tricks on us. Stay focused, everyone. Finally, the beacon appeared, a fractured spire of crystal, floating at the heart of a swirling vortex. Its light was faint, pulsing in time with a map signal. Around it, debris orbited in slow, impossible patterns. Relics from a dozen civilizations, all drawn to this impossible place. Layla piloted the Odyssey closer, maneuvering through the chaos. Prepare to board. Null, can you shield us from the worst of the distortion? The Null's light flared, forming a cocoon around the ship. I will try, but the beacon is wounded. Its memories are leaking into the void. The Pathfinders donned their suits and stepped into the airlock, hearts pounding. As the hatch opened, the strange energies of the void pressed in, distorting sound and sight. The beacon's song was a broken lullaby, echoing with loss and longing. Layla led the way, her voice steady. Let's find out what happened here, and see if we can heal this wound. The Pathfinders stepped from the Odyssey into the heart of the void's distortion. Every movement felt both heavy and weightless. Colors shifted and bled into one another, and the beacon's fractured spire loomed above, its crystal facets flickering with memories that threatened to slip away. Lynn steadied herself, her scanner struggling to maintain coherence. The beacon's core is unstable. Its memory lattice is unraveling. If we don't act soon, everything it holds could be lost to the void. Joran's voice was tight with awe and fear. I'm seeing echoes, people, ships, whole worlds, like ghosts trapped in the crystal. The Null hovered at the center of the group, its light forming a protective sphere. The beacon's pain is immense. Its memories are not just leaking. They're being devoured by the void. Something here feeds on loss. Layla pressed forward, reaching out to touch the fractured crystal. Instantly, her mind was flooded with visions. The beacon's creators, a civilization of dream weavers who shaped reality with thought and song. She saw their world torn apart by a cosmic event, a rift that opened the void and began to consume their history. That a voice echoed from deep within the beacon, thin and desperate. "Help us. Remember us." The void is hungry. Lynn found a control node, its interface flickering between languages. If we can stabilize the core, we might be able to restore some of their memories and close the rift. But we'll need to anchor ourselves. If we lose focus, we could be swept into the void's illusions. Joran anchored a safety line to the beacon's base, his hands shaking. "Let's do this together. We hold the line, no matter what." The null extended its light, weaving a lattice that connected each Pathfinder's mind. Share your strongest memories. Anchor the beacon with hope, unity, and truth. I will channel your strength into the core. Layla closed her eyes, focusing on Sanctuary's first sunrise, the laughter of the Wanderer's children, and the moment the Scourge were redeemed. Lynn added her memories of discovery and wonder. Joran, his loyalty and courage. The beacon's core pulsed, drawing in their memories. The void howled, trying to tear them away, but the null's lattice held firm. The fractured crystal began to knit itself back together, its song growing stronger, clearer. A final vision surged through them all. The dream weavers at peace, their world restored in memory, if not in fact. The rift shrank, its hunger sated by the gift of remembrance. The Pathfinders staggered back as the distortion faded. The beacon stood whole once more, its light shining across the void, a new anchor for lost souls. Layla smiled through tears. "We did it. We gave them back their story." The null's light shimmered with pride. And in doing so, we strengthened our OWNAS. The fractured beacon's light stabilized. A resonant hum filled the void, no longer mournful, but triumphant. The Pathfinders, still connected by the null's lattice, felt a surge of new energy ripple through the map of forgotten stars. Lynn stared at her scanner in awe. The repaired beacon is transmitting everywhere. It's like a signal flare across the entire network. Joran grinned, catching his breath. "We just told every beacon in the galaxy that hope is possible, even at the edge of nothing." Suddenly, the map projected a new pattern above the Odyssey's bridge. Dozens, then hundreds of beacons lighting up, their signals weaving together in a tapestry of color and sound. At the center, a new symbol formed, a convergence point pulsing with invitation. Dusk Soul's voice was hushed with wonder. "Incoming transmission. It's not just from one beacon, it's from all of them." The null's light danced with anticipation. This is the gathering. Long ago, the beacon's builders dreamed of a day when all who remembered, healed, and hoped would unite. That day has come. That a chorus of voices filled the air, translated by the null into every language the Pathfinders knew, and some they didn't. Pathfinders, dreamers, healers, you are invited to the conclave of stars. Bring your stories, your wisdom, your unity. The galaxy is ready to become whole again. Layla's eyes shone with tears and determination. "We have to go. This is what we've been working toward. What every journey, every healing has led to." Lynn nodded, her curiosity blazing. "Imagine what we could learn, what alliances we could forge." Joran's tail flicked with excitement. "And what new adventures might begin." The null pulsed with joy. "We are not alone. The story continues. Together, the Odyssey set its course for the conclave. The Pathfinders prepared to share Sanctuary's hope, the Wanderer's redemption, and the Dreamweaver's legacy with all the peoples of the stars. The galaxy, once fractured and fearful, was ready to gather and dream anew. The Odyssey sailed through the heart of the galaxy, guided by the luminous threads of the map. Around them, ships of every shape and origin converged, some ancient and crystalline, others sleek and new, all drawn by the beacon's call. The Pathfinders gazed in awe as the conclave's meeting place came into view, a vast, living construct woven from the light of countless beacons, suspended in the void like a cosmic cathedral, Sol's voice was reverent. Docking protocols received. Welcome, Pathfinders, to the Conclave of Stars. Layla led her team through the airlock and into a grand hall where beings from every corner of the galaxy mingled. Seraphim shimmering with memory, Lirari singing their gratitude, wanderer children darting between nulls and dreamweavers. The air buzzed with 1,000 languages, all translated by the beacon's harmonics into a single, harmonious chorus. At the hall center stood a council of the oldest beacons, their forms both physical and luminous, their voices resonating through the chamber. The null hovered beside Layla, its light bright with pride. Welcome, Pathfinders. You have rekindled the hope of the lost, healed the wounds of the past, and shown that unity is stronger than fear. The time has come to shape the future. Together, delegates from every world stepped forward, sharing stories of survival, redemption, and new beginnings. Sira spoke of Sanctuary's promise. The reformed scourge told of their transformation. The Dreamweaver's descendants offered visions of peace. Lynn's curiosity blazed as she exchanged knowledge with scientists for forgotten civilizations. Joran joined a council of explorers, planning new journeys beyond the edge of the map. Layla stood before the assembly, her voice carrying the hopes of all those she'd met. "We are the children of memory and possibility," she declared. "Let us build a galaxy where every voice is heard, every story honored, and every shadow met with understanding." The conclave erupted in song, a tapestry of worlds woven with hope. The null's light joined the chorus, its voice now one among many. No longer alone, the celebration continued. The Pathfinders knew their work was not finished. The galaxy's wounds would take time to heal, and new mysteries waited beyond the stars. But for the first time, they faced the future not as wanderers, but as a united family of worlds. And so, beneath the gathered beacons, the next chapter of the galaxy's story began. One of unity, courage, and endless discovery. As the conclave's celebration echoed through the living cathedral, the Pathfinders wandered among the gathered delegates, forging new alliances and friendships. Layla found herself in conversation with a Seraphim elder, whose crystalline form shimmered with centuries of memory. "We watched the galaxy fracture and heal," the elder intoned. "Now, together, we can plant seeds for an age of wisdom." Lynn joined a circle of scientists, exchanging data on energy harmonics and ecological restoration. "Imagine what we could do," she mused, "if every world shared its knowledge, not just its pain." Joran and the Null met with explorers from the farthest reaches, plotting new expeditions beyond the map's edge. The Null's light pulsed with excitement. Discovery is the heartbeat of unity. Let us seek together, not alone. As the conclave drew to a close, the Council of Beacons presented each delegation with a living crystal, an anchor to the network, a promise that no world need ever be isolated again. Layla addressed the assembly one last time. "Let these crystals be more than tools. Let them be reminders that every story matters, and every shadow can be met with light." In the days that followed, delegates worked tirelessly to draft the first accord, a charter of cooperation and remembrance. The accord recognized the right of every world to be heard, the duty to preserve memory, and the promise to aid any beacon in distress. Sanctuary's children, the Wanderer survivors, and even the reformed scourge added their handprints, literal and digital, to the accord's living record. When the time came to ratify the accord, the beacon's harmonics resonated in a symphony that swept across the galaxy. Worlds that had once hidden in fear now reached out in hope. With the conclave concluded, the Pathfinders prepared to depart. The map of forgotten stars shimmered with new routes, some drawn by the Pathfinders themselves, others revealed by the wisdom of the conclave. Lynn lingered in the cathedral, her mind racing with possibilities. There are mysteries out there we haven't even dreamed of, new cultures, new sciences, new friends. Joran grinned, his explorer's heart alight. And new dangers, too, but we'll face them together. Layla smiled, feeling the weight and the wonder of their journey. We're not just pathfinders anymore. We're stewards of the story. The null's light glowed with contentment. The galaxy sings with new voices. Let us listen, learn, and carry the song onward. As the Odyssey set course for the next unknown, the Pathfinders looked back at the Conclave, now a beacon in its own right, shining with the promise of unity. The story was far from over, but for the first time, it belonged to everyone.